Welcome to another episode of Stories from the Edge of Life. We once again have our guest, Dr. Andrea Martinez de la Vega from Mexico. She's a palliative care physician there. Welcome once again, Andy.
Well, thank you for having me again. I thought I would bore them, but I think I didn't. So we're having this conversation again, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm really glad I'm here. Thank you for having me again.
No, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I always learn something each time we interact. So thank you. And I'm Parag Bharadwaj. I'm a palliative care physician in the US. So, Andy, last time we spoke about your journey as a clinician and how you ended up becoming a palliative care clinician. This time, let's focus on how your experience as a physician has taught you lessons about life and perhaps changed you and your perspective of life as well.
Let's bring it on. I'm ready.
Yeah. So you see a lot of different things, in terms of patients being very sick, clinicians trying to help them, families trying to cope with those situations. So, what have you distilled down in terms of the lessons that you've learned from your experiences so far?
That you can actually be friends with your patient, that sometimes you need to befriend your patient so empathy develops. And so when a patient dies, it also hits me, it's like I'm losing a friend. I'm saying goodbye to a friend. And I know it's not the same that I'm grieving as the family is grieving, but it's also a loss, and some other doctors, I think they don't understand that because it's just another patient. No, he was not just another patient. He was a patient, and it happened that we turned out to be great friends. So I think that's something nobody talks about because it's like a taboo or something that you befriend your patient. It's like a horror, no? How could you do that? They taught you throughout med school that you should not be doing that, and there you go, befriending patients. And I think that's really marked me as a person because I go a step forward a little bit more. It's like I don't know how to put it in words, but I think I take the extra mile in that way. So it's really a different medical patient relationship and experience, and it's enlightening and it's beautiful, and I love it. Breaking the rules, I mean.
So, you, of course, are an outstanding physician, from what I can tell, and you tell us about the non-clinical aspect. So we spoke, like I said, about a doctor's journey, but I want to hear about the person's journey. As you spoke about your first rotation in palliative care. What did you see? What was shocking to you? What is it that you learned that you thought when you're younger you have a different perspective about life, but then when you see patients going through so much, it changes us to you, as you know. So
Yeah.
can you share a few experiences that you had with patients, or what really struck you as you went along with your experiences in palliative care?
Well, it struck me down like lightning that patients actually die. I mean, they teach us throughout med school that you have to be the superhero and the patient has to live like 125 years because he cannot die. And then you enter palliative care and it's okay. We all die. And, it was like a shock, a boom inside my head that, okay, I'm letting people die. And then I actually realized that I'm not letting them die. I'm accompanying them throughout the last part of their journey. And that's really different. But the first time I realized a patients died, it was like mind blowing. It's like they didn't teach me this in med school. How I'm gonna cope with the fact that people dying, it's okay. It goes against all odds and all that they've been teaching you, but we've been doing it millennia. So the balance. And it was like I tried to stop being the superhero I thought I should be, and I started to like being the person and the human being inside me. So I took off the cape and the core and everything, and it was like just me against the world, literally, like no cape, no sword, no saving patients, just being myself in this world and going like a salmon against it, like befriending patients and befriending their families and breaking the rules about feeling something because we don't feel as doctors, we cannot feel anything. We're like rocks. And decided to make my own path through it. It's been hard. It's been hard, but it's been delightful. I mean, the lessons I've learned, the people I've met, and everything, I think it's stuck within my soul and I carry it all the way through. And it only makes me a better person, I think, a better version of myself, more humane, human. I don't know, but less robotic.
Got it. So, any experiences in particular that you can recall that helped you in shaping you who you are today as a person?
I mean, when a person actually dies when you're with them, that you're like holding their hands and they decide it's time to turn off the switch. It's like, wow, what's going on? I mean, you literally chose me to end your journey and I feel honored and blessed, but how do I cope with it? How do I deal with it? How do I heal it? Because it moves a lot of emotions inside, and then it's, what do I do with these emotions? And actually I've learned throughout palliative care to meditate. I didn't meditate before going into palliative care, and actually being in touch with these emotions that people share at the end of life of someone they love and bringing them with me. They're like they forge me like into a completely different human being from the one that started med school, that was the enthusiastic little girl that wanted to have A+ in everything, and that just be the perfect daughter, the perfect doctor, the perfect being. And then was like, I don't need to be perfect, and I can have fun, and I can joke with the patient, and it's okay. Sometimes they need to laugh, and it's okay to joke with your patients, and it's okay to take it a little less more serious. And I think that's what palliative care taught me, that we don't have anything written in stone, that we're all going to die and we don't know when. So, well, let's make it last, make it fun, make it worthy, as long as it lasts.
Yeah, it sounds like you figured out what is really important in life and what really brings meaning to it.
Well, at least to my person. I don't know if this changes. I believe so. I think we don't all have the same motive, but I think I really am connected with what I think it's important for me, and I'm living for it, or trying to. I'm just still learning, It's it's a great path, but it has so many, information, so much information coming and coming and coming through. And then you're like, okay, let's take it slowly. None of it matters. Not all of it matters. And then you start being selective with who you want to hang out, or what do you want to do, or who you want to be outside the hospital, what kind of person I am. And then connect with it and flow with it. And yeah, pretty much that sums it up, I think, maybe.
Great. So, just to be clear, you mentioned that you're part of the patient's end, of the journey, and but palliative care, you don't cause it to happen. Just to be clear, you are there when it happens, and
Yeah, exactly.
and your job is to make sure that the patient's transition is as comfortable as possible, right? Because
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, I just want to make sure because we have different, our audience might be varied. So just wanted to make that clear. Now, you mentioned about being a perfectionist, but not as much anymore. How has that been coming along?
Well, I've learned to relax, I've learned that I can have fun and I don't need to feel everybody's expectations of what they think of me. I only need to feel up my own expectations. And that's pretty hard also, because I'm a tough judge. So I'm always like going tough with myself. And it's like, okay, relax, take it easy. You're not going to make it alive anyway. So make it worthy, not make it perfect.
That's great. Now, you do have a very difficult job. Uh, you mentioned, it can be emotionally very challenging at times. So, what strategies? You mentioned meditation, but what else do you typically do to ease that burden on yourself that you carry as you take care of patients?
I bake. I love baking, and it makes my mind go blank, like nothing's on my mind and everything goes through the emotion into something creative. And then voila, you have a cake, you have a crumble and you have something new. And it's filled with all the emotions that I was carrying inside my head. And I also write. I like to write sometimes, like little black notebook, not like you have in your pocket. So whenever I have my head like just bumbling around, I just write it up. But mostly it's baking. And recently I've discovered I like singing. So I'm starting to that, and it helps, like singing out the emotions. I'm still not a good singer. I'm learning, but it helps, deal with the emotions and let them flow, let them go, like, outside. And it works for me.
Perhaps we'll invite you in the future to sing a few songs for us.
Well, let me first, like manage it, and, you know, just don't be like all rhythmic and everything, I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Got it. Got it. Now, what do you write about?
Well, mostly nonsense when I read it afterwards, because I think it only makes sense to me when I'm stressed. And once I read it when I'm not stressed, it's like, okay, perfect. I was planning on actually writing a book, like with all these experiences, and stop making it nonsense scribbles. But I haven't had the guts to start it because the the blank space, it's all white and you have the pen, and it's frightening. And I don't have the guts to do that yet, but I'll let you know. Coming soon.
Thank you.
It's like, you know, like seeing yourself reflected in something that you're creating, it's like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. And it actually goes, you have to confront yourself to do that. So I'm still dealing with that.
Yeah, and I have noticed that you do share some of your materials on social media, so we will make sure to have a link uh, to that in the description of this
Thank
interview,
you.
right? So that people can keep up with what you have to share. Now,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Do you recall any particular experience with a patient that touched you the most?
Yeah, it was a patient that he flew in from the US actually, because he was told that for palliative care he would have to wait 6 months to get into hospice, because I don't know, the system, I don't know it really well. So he had a friend in Mexico, they flew him in. And then when I met him, he was like, "Oh, you're like a little puppy." And I was like, "No, I'm not a puppy. I'm a doctor." I was like frustrated because I was not a puppy. But he was like 85 years old. So yeah, probably we were all puppies in his eyes, no? And he decided he wanted to spend his last days in Mexico because he fell in love with the country. If you have the time to visit, please do. It's a marvelous country. You have everything here. So he flew down to Mexico with his wife, and then we have a really touching moment because he was like, I know my bones. He had sarcoma, like lung sarcoma, stage 4, metastatic everywhere. And he was like, I know my bones are broken. I know my lungs don't work. And I know I don't want I don't want to break my spirit. So please help me with the pain. He couldn't walk because of the pain. He couldn't breathe because of the pain. And I remember his wife telling me the only thing that matters to him is that he can actually enjoy a chili jalapeno, that he loved them. And he wants to do that without any pain. Okay, let's see to it. No, so we took the patient. He took a walk. I put it on the meds on him when he was ready. Okay, I'm ready to give my jalapeno. We talked a lot, and then he was with no pain. I put the subcutaneous medicine for pain management. Okay, so he was like, okay, I can actually live without pain. I know I'm facing my last stage of life. And then I remember him biting the jalapeno, and then he started laughing because he couldn't swallow anymore. No, but he was like all this chili inside his mouth, and he was like, like when you're really, really chilly and stuff. And then he was like, "Thank you, little puppy. You made my dreams come true." And I was like, "Really? Okay, you know." And then he passed away the next day, and then the wife called me. Like it was really, really funny because she called me and asked me for my address, so I gave it to her. And then, like 5 days later, I had a jalapeno can in my email. Thanks for making it happen. And it was like, wow, it's not about the jalapeno. It's about the context that he went as he wanted to go. And it was a symbolical thing, that the jalapenos, and it became like with my family also, like, hey, does any other of your patients like jalapeno, or what chilies do they like? No, so they actually ask me what chilies my patients like, and I ask them. So it's become a thing. It's quite interesting because nobody ever asks you which chili do you like best. No, so it was really moving because I passed like from being the little puppy from the doctors who actually helped him, no, and all in the lapse of what, about 5 hours, and it was like, okay, I can really trust you. You're doing great, more than I was expecting from someone who looks your age, so young, and is a woman. And it's like, well, I'm very capable, so please don't doubt me. It was beautiful. What can I tell you? Beautiful experience.
And how did that impact you? Apart from jalapenos that you get to enjoy and appreciate the value of jalapenos for patients. In a personal life, what message did you take from that particular experience? Because I'll tell you what I took from it, but I want you to go first.
I thought that it's never underestimate anyone on their looks, because we have so much more to give than what we look on the outside. So I think everybody deserves a chance. And at least I am that person that will give you a chance, no matter what you're doing, no matter anything, there's a chance. And my dogs agree. So that's a yes.
Great. Yeah, my takeaway was the simple things, right? Just having a bite of a meal that you really enjoy. And then we often take things for granted. And it was amazing that you were able to provide that to a cancer patient who was in the last stages of his life. Yeah. So great that this patient got to experience that, and thanks to somebody like you being there. Anything else that you want to share with our audience before we wind up the interview?
No, actually, I think we can go on if you want to. I think it's okay with me.
Yeah. Whatever you want to share, this is your platform. So, what are the pearls that you would like to share with our audience in terms of, if you were to explain the value of life that you see as a palliative care physician, that I didn't appreciate so many things about life uh, till I started doing this job as well. Like I described with this particular patient, the little things that matter. What are the things that you would want to convey to our audience?
Go for that ice cream, have that wine, make that trip. Maybe you'll die enjoying it. Maybe you won't, but there's only one way to find out, just don't keep it in. Do it, like if you want to go singing, go singing. If you want to bake, bake. If you want to go skiing, do it. Take the leap.
Do you think most of us are afraid to take that leap, or what keeps us from doing the things that we want to do?
I think we are afraid, but also we got up like locked up in routine. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna wake up 7 a.m., go to the gym, make some breakfast, go to the hospital, blah, 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 end the day, go home with the family, blah, blah, blah. And then in 6 months, once I've recovered from whatever, I'm gonna make a trip, and then I don't enjoy the trip because I'm thinking about my job. It's like, no, I think we're afraid to be who we really are. So we mask ourselves and we hide ourselves in our jobs and everything. So we don't actually have to face ourselves. So I would say, like, go meet yourself. You probably like you. Actually, when we first met, I was on vacation, and I'm gonna tell you, I was on vacation with myself, with my demons, and they made peace with each other. I realized I really like myself. I went all by myself to the beach 2 weeks without speaking with anybody else. And it was like, okay, I needed that because I'm not afraid of being with me. But I think that's the part that most human beings are really afraid of. What if I don't like myself? Then what?
Those are very wise words, and I would like to conclude this interview here because I want what you said to sink in. Very powerful words. So great to have learned about your personal experience and all that you've learned in your profession, and how your experiences with your patients are shaping you as an individual, and also highlighting what's important in life. With that, uh, we will conclude this interview unless you have anything else, any parting notes for our audience.
Enjoy life.
All
Enjoy
right.
yourselves and let it flow. I think, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming once again, and I hope we'll have you again often so that we keep on learning about your journey.
Thank you for having me again, and I'll be delighted to be coming here again. Thank you so much.
Take care.
You too. Bye bye.